Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen. I'm a certified weight loss and nutrition coach, and today we're talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is the BMI chart. BMI stands for body mass index. This is a chart that doctors and healthcare professionals use to determine whether or not your weight is in a healthy range, if your BMI, body mass index, is healthy. And this is quite controversial and I have opinions. So if you're excited, give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, because I upload new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to check out the description box down below where I will link nutrition coaching. I have lost over 140 pounds just tracking macros and calories. So I do offer personalized macros and calories for you. I highly recommend this, as well as one-on-one coaching for accountability, or if you would like to chat with me directly. Links, discounts to my favorite things are also down in that description box. So let's talk about the controversial BMI chart. Like I mentioned, the BMI chart, the BMI tool, the body mass index chart is used standardized in most healthcare facilities. When you go to the doctor and they weigh you, they calculate whether or not your weight is healthy based on the BMI chart. Many claim that the BMI chart is outdated and should not be used in fitness facilities at all, which I can attest to this. Most personal trainers, CrossFit gyms in general, do not use the BMI chart for the reasons we'll talk about in today's video. And it's also said that it should not be used in healthcare facilities as well. So let's define in depth what BMI is. BMI stands for body mass index. The BMI was developed in 1832 by a Belgian mathematician named Lampert Adolphe Jacques Quetelet. He developed the BMI scale to quickly estimate the degree of overweight and obesity in a given population to help governments decide where to allocate health and financial resources. The BMI chart was not useful in studying single individuals, but rather in giving a snapshot of a population's overall health. Nevertheless, it is widely used to measure individuals' health. The BMI is basically based on a mathematical formula that was developed in 1832. It's 2023 and we're still using a chart developed in 1832 that wasn't even designed to measure individual health. It was made to measure a population. There is a set amount of body mass index that designates whether you're overweight, underweight, obese, healthy. I will go ahead and put that chart up here on the screen for you so that you can see what is designated as considered to be a healthy weight based on your height and your age and your sex. A BMI of about 18.5 to about 25 is what's considered to be healthy. Now I want to deep dive into what makes up your weight in general and what makes you fall in the healthy category on the BMI chart. And I have a little bit of information that was shared with me directly from my physician that I think is really the way to look at BMI in this day and age in 2023. So is the BMI chart in general a good indicator of health? Overall, studies have shown that a BMI over 30 begins to really significantly increase your risk of certain diseases, chronic diseases, type 2 diabetes, heart-related issues, trouble breathing, kidney disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver, and mobility issues. All of these are with a BMI of about 30 or more. Having a BMI of 30 puts you in the obese class on the BMI chart. What we are seeing even in this day and age is that your BMI on the chart doesn't really have a lot to do with how healthy you are or how physically fit you are or how much muscle you have on your body, but more is an indicator of whether or not you're likely to have certain chronic health diseases. This doesn't mean that everybody with a BMI 30 or more is going to suffer from all these diseases. It just increases the likelihood. Think about it this way. The healthier we are, the less likely we're to have these chronic conditions. And the more unhealthy we are, the more likely we're to have these chronic conditions. And that's kind of what the BMI chart is signified for us today. So I want to talk about some of the downsides of following the BMI chart. First thing I want to talk to you about is what my personal physician and I had a conversation with not too long ago regarding the BMI chart. For the record, I am considered overweight on the BMI chart. I am not overweight at all. I don't have fat to lose. I am a healthy weight. But based on my weight on the scale, I am considered overweight on the BMI chart. When I had this conversation with my physician, who agreed that I am nowhere near overweight, she said, take the high end number of the BMI chart. So whatever your high weight can be that will take you from normal to overweight, Add 20 pounds to that, and that's what you should focus on as a goal weight. So for me, that would put me in the healthy category on the BMI chart. If I added 20 pounds to my high weight that the BMI chart says that I should be. So think about that. Look at that BMI chart, take it with a grain of salt, add 20 pounds to the highest weight on that chart, and that's what you can shoot for as a goal weight. So one downside of the BMI chart, it doesn't consider any other health factors. BMI is basically yes or no. Either you're healthy or you're not. That really doesn't take into account anything else relating to health. It doesn't care about your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your resting heart rate, your blood pressure, inflammation, how active you are. It doesn't take any of these things into account. It is very black and white, and we don't live in black and white. There's definitely a gray area for everything, including the BMI chart. And what's more is men generally have less fat than women overall, and women have more fat than men. So women are more likely to be considered overweight on the BMI chart, even though they are at a healthy weight for their body and their gender. We can't ignore all of the other aspects of health and just focus on a number. That doesn't make any sense, and that's why the BMI chart is said to be very out of date and very archaic. The BMI chart assumes all weight is equal. Now, there's a big myth in the diet industry that muscle weighs more than fat. You guys, a pound's a pound. A pound of flour, a pound of muscle, a pound of fat, a pound of sugar, everything's a pound. Everything's a pound. However, muscle takes up substantially less space than fat. So someone can be the same age, same height, same gender, same weight, and look completely different. If this person over here has a lot of muscle mass, lean muscle, they're going to look substantially smaller than the person over here that weighs exactly the same, but body is made up more of fat. And the BMI chart only takes in the account of the weight on the scale, the mass that the scale measures. And we know the scale doesn't measure anything other than mass. It doesn't even know what that mass is made up of. So individuals that have quite a bit of lean muscle, think bodybuilders, fitness professionals, most of these guys fall on the overweight, if not obese, on the BMI chart. Think about that for a second. Fitness competitors who have a body fat percentage that is very, very low are still considered overweight and obese on the BMI chart. So it doesn't take into consideration anything other than a number, and that just doesn't make sense overall. It also doesn't consider how your fat is distributed in your body. There's different types of fat, visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. Visceral fat is the scary fat. That's the fat around your organs. And subcutaneous fat is the fat that just sits under the skin. And the BMI chart just measures fat overall. It doesn't take into consideration how that fat is distributed, where some is more dangerous than others. It can also lead to weight bias. You can have a doctor tell you that you're overweight on the BMI chart, even though you're at a completely healthy weight for your body and your body shape. I appreciate that my physician doesn't take the BMI chart into consideration, but more takes the individual into consideration. But this can be really hard mentally. If you go to the doctor and they tell you you're overweight when you feel great in your skin, this can lead to eating disorders. This can lead to mental health related issues. It's really scary that some number on a chart developed in 1832 can really be so detrimental and can lead to weight bias, especially with physicians. Lastly, the BMI chart may not be relevant for all populations. Remember, the BMI chart was made for a population, not an individual. For example, individuals of Asian descent automatically have a lower risk of chronic diseases, whether their BMI chart is healthy or not. And African Americans can be misclassified as overweight despite having lower fat mass and higher muscle mass. That goes back to the fitness competitors. They have a lot of muscle on their body, very low fat, but are considered overweight and obese on the BMI chart. There are definitely much better alternatives out there for determining whether or not you're at a healthy weight for your body. Every body is different. We are all individuals. So there's some things that you can take into consideration to determine if you really are at a healthy weight, regardless of what the 1832 scale says. Number one is measure your waist circumference. A larger waist circumference, one greater than about 35 inches in women and 40 inches in men, indicates a greater body fat in the abdominal area, which of course is associated with a higher risk of chronic diseases. Whip out a measuring tape and measure your waist circumference and maybe base some of your healthiness on that number. Waist to hip ratio, a higher ratio greater than 0.80 in women and greater than 0.95 in men indicates higher fat stores in the stomach area, which again is linked to a greater risk of heart and chronic diseases. Again, it's easy to measure your hip to waist ratio with that tape measure. That's another better indicator of overall health. Body fat percentage. Body fat percentage is the relative amount of body fat a person has. It actually distinguishes between fat mass and fat-free mass and is more accurate representation of health risk than BMI. There's a lot of ways to have your body fat measured. There's skin fold assessments, there's body scans like the DEXA scan. There's even portable devices that you grip and hold out that measure your body fat, and this is a much better indicator of overall health. Lab tests. Lab tests are various blood and vital sign measurements that can indicate chronic risk disease like blood pressure, heart rate, cholesterol, blood glucose levels, and inflammation. So next time you have your blood drawn, make sure that it's measuring whether you're at risk for chronic diseases. And this is a much better way to figure out your overall health, again, than a number on a scale. So what is the bottom line of today's video? I feel like you get my passion about this and my disdain for the BMI chart. I find it very, very archaic. I find it very unrealistic. And I find that most people who fall in the healthy weight on the BMI chart definitely look underweight and can really even look malnourished. It's important to really think about adding that 20 pounds to that high number on the BMI chart and take advantage of other ways to measure your health, because that's really what we're after is health. Sure, we want to look good in a pair of jeans, we want to look good naked, but our overall success on whether or not we are considered healthy is based on our health. So take measurements, have a body fat scan, do a DEXA scan, measure your body fat, and figure out what is healthy for your body, because again, every body is different. Let me know down below, what are your thoughts on the BMI chart? Did you decide on your goal weight from the BMI chart, or are you somebody who goes, you know what, I'm happy where I am, we don't care what a chart says? That's definitely the category I fall in. So let me know your thoughts down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a big, huge thumbs up. And again, subscribe, turn your bell on, because I upload new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to check out the description box down below for nutrition coaching, as well as links and discounts to my favorite healthy things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.